How many times a day should you eat for weight loss? 6 times a day, 4 times a day, 3 times a day, 8 times a day? This is a common question that I get from women who are over 35 trying to lose weight. My name is Megan Olson. I'm a nutrition practitioner. I help women over 35 lose weight and keep it off for good. And I'm also the creator of Skinny Fitalicious. And I commonly get this question from women. Actually, in the past 2 days, I've heard it 3 times where women have asked me, how many times a day should I really be eating? So here's the answer. If you're trying to lose weight, you shouldn't be eating multiple times a day. And I'm going to explain that more. But before I go any further, I'm just going to stop for a second. And I want you, if you're watching this video, to type in the comments below, how many times a day are you eating? Are you doing like 3 meals and 2 snacks? Are you doing like 6 times a day with smaller meals? What are you doing? Okay, tell me in the comments what you are specifically doing. And if you can, tell me, why you're doing it, okay? I always kind of want to hear people's rationale for things. I mean, I think we hear things throughout the years, but there's a lot of noise in this industry, and something that everyone has to be aware of is that when you're trying to lose weight, especially over 35, we have to be really cognizant of our metabolic hormones. I talk about fat loss hormones all the time, but these are really your metabolic hormones, and these hormones are insulin, leptin, ghrelin, cortisol. These 4 hormones really impact our cravings, our hunger, and how much calories we end up taking in throughout the day. The only things that really, really matter for weight loss is a slight calorie deficit and the balance of those metabolic hormones. And those metabolic hormones are balanced through our lifestyle choices and through the foods that we eat, okay? So here's the thing. When you are eating 6 meals a day, 4 meals a day, what you're doing is literally training your body to constantly be eating on that eating cycle, and you're training your body to store more fat. You're training your insulin to constantly be released and to store more fat. One of the phrases that I tell a lot of my clients that I coach is, are we women or are we children? Right? Children eat multiple times a day. Their metabolism is growing, they are growing, they go through hunger spurts. So their hunger is not going to be consistent, but they know when to eat because they know when they're physically hungry. When we are over 35, we have gone through so many things in our lives, and plus our hormones are on the decline. And so we're not usually as in touch with our hunger, physical hunger, as younger children are. So therefore, as adults, we kind of just eat based on our patterns that we have created in our lives, not on based on true physical hunger. And so when you are in a pattern where you are eating multiple times a day, you are creating this pattern and training your body to depend on all of that food as energy, okay? And that does not keep those metabolic hormones balanced. It keeps those hormones from thinking, oh, I'm going to constantly get fuel, so I'm not going to have to tap into my fat to lose the fat on my body, right? So weight loss is about losing fat, right? And if you want to lose fat, we have to be smart about how we approach weight loss and not be doing it from, well, I heard this on the internet, so I'm just going to eat 6 to 8 times a day because that's going to boost my metabolism. It doesn't work that way when you are a woman over 35. Remember, women should be eating differently than children. Children eat snacks. Women eat 3 meals a day. 3 balanced meals a day. And what I find with a lot of women who come to me and work with me to lose weight is that they have been doing a lot of different diets, a lot of different approaches, things that they have heard over the years. And what they tend to do is eat really low calorie meals. So 200, 100 calorie breakfast, maybe a 300 calorie lunch. And then what happens is in the afternoon, they are just a hot mess with craving carbs and sugar, right? So our hunger is not stable, right? So breakfast should really be 300 to 500 calories. Lunch should really be 300 to 500 calories, and the same with dinner. And those are the 3 meals that you really should be eating every single day, unless you are an endurance athlete and have a very highly active career, job, you're on your feet a lot, something like that. But for the most part, majority of women are not that active. Your hormones are on the decline, which means you're losing muscle mass, which means it's a lot easier for you to gain weight, which means it's a lot easier for insulin, leptin, ghrelin, cortisol to get out of balance. And because we're over 35, we tend to stress out a lot because we have stressful lifestyles. So cortisol is up, we store more fat, and then guess what? We're constantly in this mode of like figuring out what to do, and we're constantly craving foods, and we don't know what we're doing wrong. And really what we're doing wrong is because we're treating our bodies as if they're children. We're eating in a way and training our bodies to be on this cycle and pattern of eating all these snacks and then not really focusing on high quality, nutrient dense meals that are a little bit higher in calories, because most people who have been dieting, like I said, have been eating really low calorie meals. So getting in high quality foods, high fiber, protein, vegetables at every single meal is going to keep your blood sugar more stable. It's also going to train your body to start burning fat when you get into a calorie deficit. If you were in a calorie deficit and you're eating all these foods all day long, it would be really hard to train your body to actually burn that fat unless you were highly active or you were an endurance athlete. Okay, so just remember that. Are you a woman or are you a child? So if you are constantly eating snacks throughout the day and you're somebody who's sitting, you have a desk job, I know I have a desk job, I'm sitting quite often, you might want to rethink your approach and be really focusing on those 3 meals, not eating a bunch of snacks throughout the day. And here's a tricky thing about snacks. Snacks should really be vegetables. If you're not hungry enough to eat a vegetable, you're not hungry physically. And remember I said earlier that as adults, we tend to not be as in touch with our natural hunger, our physical hunger. And so then we grab a snack that's calorie dense, that usually has a lot of fat in it. And fat is good. We need fat, but we need small amounts of fat. Okay. And what I find with the women that I coach in my experience is that their snacks tend to be really focused on fat. And guess what? Fat is not great at stabilizing blood sugar. It's not great at keeping that insulin happy. And it's not great at keeping those metabolic hormones in check. So fat is not really good as a stabilizer for hunger. So that's why if you're not hungry enough for a vegetable, then you're probably not hungry enough for a snack. And sometimes what I even do, because I know that a lot of people mid-afternoon around 3 o'clock, around 4 o'clock, you start to get hungry. Okay, so this is a great time for you to eat some vegetables, snacking on them as you're making dinner, or to move up your dinner and eat it sooner. A lot of us are working from home now, so we have the opportunity to move our dinners up if we need to. And that might be something that you need. So instead of having a snack at 3 o'clock, maybe you just need to have half of your dinner at 3 o'clock and eat it sooner, right? That could be it. But everybody's a little bit different, right? So you kind of have to figure out what's going to work for you and your lifestyle. But remember, the key components for losing weight after 35 is balanced metabolic hormones and a slight calorie deficit. And that means that we have to be eating the right foods and have the right lifestyle in order to keep those metabolic hormones balanced. So I hope this answers your question. I hear this question from women all the time about, how many times a day should I be eating and all of these things. So if this is something that you're doing, I hope that helps you. I hope it clarifies that for you. Put any comments in the put a comment below if you have a question. I can't talk today. And let me know. I would love to hear from you. How many times a day are you eating? And remember, guys, there's that free weight loss training right above this video. You can click on it and watch it anytime. There's a ton of helpful information in there for women over 35 who are trying to lose weight. And if you like this content, please like, share, or comment so that other women who are struggling over 35 to lose weight can see it too. I'll talk to you soon.